Greetings folks, sorry for the delay. Today I'm bringing you an update for my Summoner Mage build for Tainted Grail, the Fall of Avalon. This build is New Game Plus Veteran ready. It's quite strong with only a couple of stress points in Veteran, then can be easily overcome by rushing for higher level summons that are quite fast to get anyway. Only a few items are mandatory, and I'll even give some options for people that want to play with just summons. Okay, let's look at our build. First of all, the mandatory items. Usurper Crown, this is from Act 2, main story. Don't side with the mushroom. This item will allow us to have 6 summon. Without it, we will be limited to 5. With upgrades, this item will not receive extra critical chance, so keep this one in mind. There is no difference between the new game plus and the new game version, except more armor that would come with upgrades, so keep that in mind. 4 rings, reduced Conjuration. If you're going in New Game Plus, you want to use 2. If you're only playing this game in the first playthrough and stopping, then only 1. And then you want a mana ring from Act 1. Very simple. With this one, we will be afforded to slot in very expensive summon, because the summon in New Game Plus will cost more, and you can have them both summoned at the same time. And yes, you can use both, they work as of this patch. If the developers decide to change this in the future, then just use a mana ring. For chest and Netherbloom vestment, this is crafted item. If you do not want to craft, then go with Royal Gown. Just know that you will lose a lot of mana. So this will of course make sustaining this very expensive summon a little harder. For pants, Spellslinger. Honestly, anything that gives you extra mana, it doesn't matter. Otherwise, Royal Breeches if you don't have mana problem, or you're not playing in Veteran, or you don't want to go in New Game Plus. For boots, Royal, also from Act 2, main quest, don't side with the mushroom, I will say this again. If you don't want to use Royal Slippers, then Spellslinger is my suggestion. For gloves, I would suggest Spellslinger. For amulet, you have 2 options here. One is the Archdruid amulet. This will give you a lot of mana. The difference between the new game version and the base game is that pretty much you get double the spell power and mana, but the critical chance stays the same. The other one will be the new game plus Horned Warden. It will give you less mana and power, but an insane amount of magical critical chance. There is a chance that this item gets nerfed. In that case, well, just use Archdruid. All the amulet, including Waning Moon, are from the Druid Shrine of each act. Just go around the map and collect them. You need them anyway for their bonuses. For back item, you have several options here. Netherbloom, this is crafted. If you do not want to use Netherbloom, then you can go with Ends of the Hollow, which is also crafted, or, well, Usurper, Act 2, main boss, is also an option. You can even go maybe with Volker Totem, if you want, but it is what it is. Now, for weapon, Claire's Pen. If you do not want to play with wands and want to play with cubes, you will have to do some changes to this build that I will list in the skill tree section later. One is gonna be Arcane Shepard, Act 1. The other one would be Undying Watch, however, while you can play with cube. In Veteran, I prefer Pen. If you play with Pen, do you want to use Celestial Charms, Relics for extra spell power? And yes, they do stack. For spells, you can use what you want, mainly. New Game Plus abilities are gonna be stronger than the base game one. If you're going in New Game Plus, you want to get the new created spell. This, however, is not always the case, so be careful, because, for example, my Poison Spray from New Game Plus, the damage is identical, except it costs more mana. I think this is a bug, they will probably fix this. For summon, you can literally use what you want. What I found effective are the new Gawain and Bertrick spells. You can use double and double at the same time, they do stack. However, just keep in mind that some spells will have an insane mana cost, so you need to have that mana to afford the summons, otherwise this is not gonna work out. Otherwise, if you do not want to use those, Master Assassins are always good. These one are from Act 2. In Act 1, the Grindylow are actually quite nice. Keep in mind that during your first playthrough, however, you will have to switch summons, especially when you enter a next act, because, for example, the base game Grindylow don't age that well in Act 2. So in Act 2, go get yourself Master Assassin or Camelot Spearman. You can even get Battle Mage. Use the one that you like the most. Alright, let's look at our stats. This build sports a good amount of spell power. Critical chance is decent, around 60. You can get more. In fact, I could cap my critical chance just by using the Horned Warden Amulet. But that is up to you. The most important stats in this build are gonna be your mana pool. Because we're making our summon stronger with spirituality, we also increase the cost. So the maximum mana gained from here is not enough. You need to have the mana to back those summons up. The other stats that are necessary are gonna be 6 endurance and 6 perception. The 6 points in perception are already required if you're using crafted gear. If you don't do that, then you don't need 6 points in perception. Then otherwise, more points in spirituality or endurance. It's up to you. Okay, let's look at our skill tree now. I will quickly allocate the points after popping a Potion of Origin, as usual. We start in spirituality. You have two choices. You can start Act 1 and even early Act 2 if you want as a mage. Or just play as a summoner, which is the case for most people, so... The game is really not that hard as a spellcaster at the start because we are ranged, so it's not like melee that we are in panic if we don't take immediately extra damage. So, mana battery, maxed, 1 point. 1 point in prepared ritual, maxed at astral bond. Prepared ritual, maxed, 2 points in power conduit. We go in dexterity, 1 point in strong arm of the bowmaster. Only 1 point in strong arm of the bowmaster. Maxed at marksman. The issue with marksman is that it's not gonna be 100% all the time, especially doing bosses, but it's still good. Next one, we're gonna go in combat. Arcane teaching maxed, then we leave. Power in swiftness, 1 point, then we leave again. We come back here. And finally, invocation of might. Okay, now, you don't have clear span yet, but you will still use a wand or a cube. So, 3 points in arcane conduit. Now, if you want to play around with cubes, you put cube mastery, cleans energy, mana battery, doesn't matter. If you're playing with wand mastery. If you're playing veteran or new game plus, you want to have the extra mana shield. If not, this is optional. I will leave it empty. Up to you. Energy feedback loop. If you have mana issues, that's good. Otherwise, you save those points. Now, let's finish taking up Worthy Sacrifice, Hold the Line, Feeding Frenzy. Mana Infused Blood, it's useful, it's not incredibly powerful, however, because your mana regeneration is not gonna be insane, so if you don't want to take it, that's up to you. 2 points in Invigorating Energy. If you're struggling with keeping Invocation of Might up, just use some mana from gear. That's simple, you have options. Perception, finally, 3 points in Extra Lucky, 1 in Critical Cascade. Not yet for Go for the Eyes, later. 1 point in Respite, 2 points in Critical Aegis, 2 points in Bloodthirst for some self-healing, which is always good. Let's go back here. Tiresome Waves, so we can start to stagger. You can get this one earlier as well. This build, however, is quite safe because you have summons that will body block a lot of projectiles and stuff. Arcane Mark, 1 point in Imbibed by the Elements. If you're using elemental spells, then Elemental Shock. Now let's go in Perception, Go for the Eyes. Then, if you have extra points, 2 or 3 points in Deep Wounds, the last 10% don't change that much. More importantly, we want to have 3 points in Exploitation of Affliction. These are optional points, however, because by now you're very high level. Rest of the points, New Game Plus will give you a debuff of minus 50 armor, so yeah. I should have taken this one earlier, would have made my life a little easier. Then Endurance for extra health. And then you can finish up with extra practicality. If you want, you can put stuff in Red Death as well, but I didn't do it on this build, frankly. And that's it for the skill tree. Alright, to get Ring of the Reduced Conjuration, you need to progress in the main quest in Act 2. After you finish the main story, you will meet an NPC that will pretty much tells you about the Gates of Knowledge. Otherwise, you cannot enter. You follow that quest, and as soon as you enter, you turn to the left, and you loot the chest. Very easy. Okay, you can get all the crafting recipes in Act 3 very fast and very easily when you get to the Stone Warden village. Look at it here. After you progress in the main quest, you will have access to the village. Otherwise, you will have to follow that one first, and then come back here. If you're familiar with my original videos, the crafting vendor was in the house up there. That's not the case anymore. Now, just by following the main quest, it will send you to the forge. The NPC that sells the recipe is still him. I already bought everything. Keep in mind that all recipes that you get in Act 1 are lost when you start New Game Plus, so you will have to buy them again. No, I'm not joking. Okay, now let's go through the location of some of the summons. You can also use my previous summoner build because it contains most of the information I'm talking about here. Very little except the addition of a few summons changed from the previous patches. You can also use the link in the description for Map Genie, where you can find most of the resources, spells, item and location present in the game, and even where to start each specific quest. Okay, the Arcane Shepard, which is one of the 2 cubes that you can use in this build, can be gotten twice in Act 1. You can do the quest for Malaki, which will require a letter that is gonna be in a chest here. Then you just read the letter and you talk to him. It will ask you to do a couple of quests before you get that. The first one is some drowned mobs drops that can be found here. They're pretty common. And then you will require to find some Marrogast eyes. They can be gotten here in the Blood Lake. There is gonna be a cave here that you can do. And you will find mobs that drop that. Or all along the watchtower that will start in the village here. All locations are on Map Genie as well, and then it will send you here after you talk with the warden. You will need some bottle of booze, however, to get the old man to talk. And that is pretty much how you get the Arcane Shepard. The Undying Watch is also quite easy to get. It will also require you to fight a mini-boss next to the location where the Children of Morrigan questline will send you anyway, so if you're doing that one, you get this one and the Camelot Spearman at the same time, which is something that I would advise you to do. Just be careful because the mob has a big AoE slam, and that kinda hurts, but it's not really a hard fight beside that. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and maybe consider even subscribing for more gaming content of questionable quality. If you have any questions or doubts, let me know in the comments. I will try my best to come back at you. I'm now going into the process of updating most of my Tainted Grail builds, and we shall see how it goes with the way they are doing patches now, which are gonna be slower but bigger, so most likely we're gonna get more nerfs in the distant future. Have fun playing the game, and I will see you in the next video.